Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Kill Team set. This video is sponsored by the Game Bunker. More on that later. The big summer preview. Deathwatch Kill Teams descend into the Tomb World. Beneath the Radwash wastes and dusty chasms of Somnath lurks an existential threat to Imperial forces in the Nephilim sector. A dormant Necron world which could spell disaster for the Indominus Crusade. Yet humanity's armies are demanded elsewhere. And of all the commanders in the region, only the Xenos hunters of Watch Fortress Prescience understand the true danger posed by such a tomb. Something must be done. Within the shifting halls of the Forgotten Dynastic Outpost, the Deathwatch descend on the Necron menace to put an end to their reawakening in Kill Team Tomb World, the first in a new series of expansions. Alright, so we have a new Kill Team expansion box coming out here, and it's going to be the Deathwatch versus the Necrons. And as we can see, it's an indoor type setting, similar to what we got with the Into the Dark, but this time it is themed like a Necron Tomb World. So we can see a bunch of new models right here. We can see some brand new terrain. It looks like it mates up the same way that the Into the Dark stuff did. Obviously has a Necron theme, and then we see a bunch of brand new models. Absolutely phenomenal. It does say that it's a new season, but it also says that it's a new expansion. But I think it's going to be an expansion to the edition, but this is going to be like basically more of a launch box, same way Into the Dark was. So you're going to get like two big teams and then a bunch of terrain, not just sort of like the smaller box with like a couple of teams and a little bit of terrain in a book. The elite Space Marines of the Deathwatch are the most versatile and adaptable warriors in the galaxy. Each a veteran of dozens of wars and trained in the use of specialized weapons for the sole purpose of ending the Xenos threat. Every member hails from one of the myriad of chapters scattered about the galaxy, bringing together their brothers, accumulating skills and wisdom to create a first-class team that can tackle any conceivable threat. So one of the things I love about Deathwatch and why they are my favorite Space Marine chapter is they're basically like the special forces of all the Space Marines. And I am definitely super excited for a new kill team, new rules, and then also new actual models. These kill teams are the ultimate weapons for conducting clandestine operations and critical missions behind enemy lines, so much so that the game is named after them. Each one is made up of a carefully chosen specialist whose unique skills are best suited for the mission. And in the Deathwatch kill team, you'll pick 5 amongst the 11 diverse candidates. Alright, so here we can see the brand new Deathwatch kill team, and this will obviously be for use in kill team, or else you can use them in big 40k. Presumably we'll get some points and a new data sheet for them. So first we have the Watch Sergeant. So this is like pretty typical of what we got before, but here we can see he is armed in Tacticus armor. So these are obviously Primaris scale Marines. And then we have the Bombard. He is armed with a frag cannon, and this one is in Gravis armor. So we see a change over the previous like kill team for the Deathwatch. Previously, the entire team was in like the equivalents of like the old school mini Marine armor. Now they're upgraded to Tacticus, and then of course we have some of them in Gravis armor as well. So before you had like a regular Space Marine with 2 wounds with a frag cannon. Now it appears you're going to have a larger Space Marine with T6 and 3 wounds armed with a frag cannon. And then next we have the Gunner. He is armed with a plasma gun, and again he's in Tacticus armor. Then we have a Breacher, and then he again is armed with the Gravis armor. This is going to be like your more specialized dude. He's got the heavy bolt rifle. And then here we see the Horde Slayer. So he has the Infernus Heavy Bolter, which is a combination of a heavy flamethrower and a heavy bolter. And again, he is in the Gravis armor. And then we had the Head Taker. So this one is a Reaver with 2 combat weapons. And then he is in the Phobos armor. And then we have a Marksman. He's once again in Tacticus armor with a bolt rifle. And then we have the Aegis. He is in Tacticus armor and then has a shield and mace. And then we have a Demolisher in Tacticus armor, and then he has the Heavy Thunderhammer. And then we have a Disruptor, or essentially like the Infiltrator, and again he is in Phobos armor. So that is the entire team. So we basically have 2 Marines in Phobos armor, we have 3 Marines in Gravis armor, and then we have 5 Marines in Tacticus armor. So quite the change over like your typical like Deathwatch kill team of veterans. I'm not sure if this is going to replace the data sheet. If it does, it's going to make some massive changes as they'll no longer be able to be transported in a Rhino. We're not sure if the weapons and equipment options are going to change. Previously, I like to run my 10-man kill team with 4 of the shields, 4 of the heavy thunderhammers, and then 1 each of the heavy weapons, the frag cannon and the Infernus heavy bolter, or 2 frag cannons. So not being able to be transported in a Rhino would be a big change. And then not having nearly as many of like the shields or heavy thunderhammers would definitely be a big change. But presumably this will be replacing the old Deathwatch kill team veterans. But very, very cool. Definitely some nice looking models right here. Definitely happy to see an upgrade to the range and a more approachable way for people to actually be able to pick up the kill teams. As previously, if you were building something like the Indominator kill team or the Talon Strike kill team, you had to pick up a bunch of different boxes to get the models you want. being able to pick up a single kit and have all of the different like armor variants and equipment variants is definitely going to be much more approachable for like newer players looking to get into them, as they're not going to have to drop like hundreds upon hundreds of dollars to collect all the individual models they need to form the team. Now a quick word from today's sponsor, Game Bunker. Game Bunker carries a full range of Games Workshop products, including miniatures, terrain, paint, tools, and more. Game Bunker offers 15% off MSRP for most Games Workshop products with the discount code WHMS. Receive free shipping in the continental United States on orders over $145. Online orders ship out within 24 hours. Game Bunker is a veteran-owned business. Use affiliate link below, enter discount code WHMS to save 15% on most items at checkout. For fast, friendly service with a discount on your favorite tabletop wargaming purchases, visit GameBunker.net and let them know that Warhammer Man sent you. Whether you need to knock out sharpshooters from a distance, duel deadly leaders in close combat, or soak up enemy fire, there's a lot for the job in the Deathwatch Kill Team. Even though the team only numbers 5 operatives, you get full 10 in the box. So you can build almost all the options, and choose what you want to deploy according to the mission parameters. And of course, there are a lot of shoulder pads. The Tomb World, however, is not undefended, and within its darkened catacombs lurks the silent servants of the deadly Geomancer, a stone-shaping cryptek awoken to correct cascading failures in the tomb's critical systems. Rather than raising slumbering Necrons to do their bidding, these masters of physical manipulation summon unending legions of canoptic circle servants to repair structures, clear debris, and eradicate interlopers. Alright, so here we have the new Necron kill team. So we have a brand new datasheet model right here, the Geomancer, and he's sort of got like the Wraith tail, but is in line with like the other Mancers. So very, very cool model right here. Definitely a big fan of this. I love the staff. I love the sort of like stone in the center. And then next we have the Accelerator right here, and then we have the Reanimator. So the Accelerator is going to like buff their weapons, but usually like a one-time use. And then the Reanimator is going to help bring back models. And then we have 2 different variants of the Tomb Crawlers. So again, I really like these things, like 4-legged little mini walkers with like a big gun on top. And then we have 3 warriors. So like a different style of warrior right here. These guys are like hovering and then have the little gums on top of their carapace. Very, very cool. Definitely a big fan of both these kill teams. The firepower comes from a pair of Tomb Crawlers, hulking constructs that mount heavy weapons atop their armored carapace, one of which can banish its victims to another dimension entirely. By contrast, the Macrosite Warriors are expendable drones that constantly return to the kill zone so long as there are fewer than 3 alive, and each individual unit is worth so little to the Geomancer that they are ignored when scoring the opponent's kill ops. Kill Team Tomb World also sees the game return to close quarters gameplay pioneered in Kill Team Into the Dark, and this time with the all-new Necron-themed kill zone, complete with shimmering portals, teleportation pads, and regeneration walls. Alright, so here we can see the board laid out, and it does look like it is the like more square-sized board that we saw with Kill Team Into the Dark. Here we can see all of the models on the board. It looks absolutely full, very, very cool. And then we can see the actual terrain set, and the terrain looks absolutely amazing. Definitely a big fan of the Necron-themed terrain. And then here we can see a close-up. We have like the actual teleporters. We can see there are like Necron warriors in the walls. Tons and tons of detail on this set. Very, very cool. Much like Kill Team Typhon, the box includes a full unit of NPO miniatures. In this case, 10 Necron warriors and 3 Scarab Swarms. They can be used in the new Joint Ops and Adversary Op mission packs, both as an enemy for cooperative players or an obstacle for competitive games. Adding to the 2 kill teams, this makes a hefty 31 miniatures before you even start with the terrain. Like the previous close quarters terrain in Killzone Galadark, Killzone Tomb World is a fully modular set of walls, doors, and pillars you can use to build hundreds of unique layouts that can be taken apart and rearranged at the drop of a hat. New elements make the Killzone feel distinctly Necron, such as breach walls reforming as microscopic maintenance drones continue their aeons-long vigil heedless of the battle around them. There's even a host of Necron warriors snoozing in the wall alcoves. Alright, and then here we can see like some of the individual like terrain walls right here. So very, very cool. It definitely looks like a different kind of system that's going to join them up. So we basically have like the Necron pillars on the ends here instead of like your standard pillars. And then these walls are going to slot into them at one of like the various different angles. And then again, we have like the breachable walls, the teleporters, and then of course like Necron warriors in the walls. Very, very cool. To top it all off, the Tomb World Dossier book contains extensive background lore for the 2 kill teams and the Tomb World of Somnath they're fighting over, setting up a decisive showdown between Kill Team Voskovian and Ametra's Crypto Retinue. It's packed with a full sheet of tokens for each team and a set of Tomb World event cards for Joint Ops missions, in case you fancy a little extra challenge while delving into the warren of killer androids. So here we can see the new book, the Tomb World Dossier, very cool cover art here, and then we have the token sheet for both kill teams, and then of course like the event cards. Very, very cool. We'll be digging further into the rules and miniatures of Kill Team Tomb World as we get closer to the release date. So absolutely awesome. Definitely super excited for this. Not only do I think it looks awesome just in general, but as one of the top competitive Deathwatch players in the world, I am super excited for them to get a new unit, make them a little more approachable to new players, and hopefully build our player base. And then of course like amazing new models, new rules. Definitely something that the Deathwatch are in desperate need of. So let me know what you think of the new kill team. Tomb World, is Games Workshop going to produce enough of them? Are people actually going to be able to get a hold of this? Or is this going to be another kill team disaster where tons of people want it and no one can get a hold of it? I think they'll produce a lot of these as it is a starter set, but hopefully I'm right. Let me know down in the comments if you're going to be picking this up. Are you more excited for the Deathwatch kill team? Are you going to be playing the Necrons? Are you excited for both? Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to the Game Bunker for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products with code WHMS at checkout. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and this is absolutely awesome. And I'm out of here.